Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to bring you a brand new buyer's guide, obviously continuing on from the where we got to basically, which was the GT500 cars. This is, I believe, the second to last one. This is a 2016 Nissan GTR GT500, an absolute beast of a machine. Obviously got it sat here in a up-to-date livery. This is obviously on the Z cars, currently in GT500. So it just feels like a while since I've really done one of these kind of, buyer's guides. But yeah, I am going to try and sort of bring it back. I just feel like sometimes, it's a bit of burnout, and then I kind of need to take a break, make something different, and then come back, because, yeah, it can be a bit much at times. So, as you can see, if you want to buy this, it's 800k from the Nissan store in the brand dealership. Fair priced, I think, actually 200k less than the '08 model. So now it's time to set our lap. So overall, was there any sort of major weaknesses for this car? Not really. There was nothing sort of really wrong with it. There was nothing to really point out that it was weak at. In fact, it was very, very strong in a lot of areas. The main areas being just the downforce it's got through the corners. Pretty much like all these GT500 vehicles, is absolutely insane. You just don't expect it. If you've never tried one of these, you're probably thinking, from the outside it looks like a bit of an, oversized kind of GT3 car. Not at all. These things produce some absolute insane downforce. Really able to sort of carry your speed through pretty much all of the corners. They're quite strong in the sort of the slower corners, but I'd say that's probably one of the, I guess, weaker areas for these cars, especially if you're not careful putting the power down. These cars do like to try and get the back end out. The Lexus that we previously did, the 2016 version, was actually quite good at not doing that. If you remember, I did say it was quite, I'd say, weighty, and felt like it had a bit of extra pounds on. This car, however, it just feels the complete opposite. It feels really lightweight, really manoeuvrable, a little bit more twitchy, I guess more on the twitchier side than the 2016 Lexus. The only kind of issue I found with it when putting my lap in was that the brakes don't seem as good as the previous one, the Lexus. As you can see, just a couple of times throughout this lap, I kind of went to put the brakes on, and it felt like there was just a slight delay, and it was just enough to kind of run me wide through some of the corners. That is something that I'd never noticed with the Lexus. So I mean, just with that being said, maybe if you kind of messed around with the brake bias, it might be, I guess, a bit better. As you can see, this way it's a little bit twitchy. Just going through there just kind of ran me onto the curb a little bit too much. But yeah, I mean, overall, top speed on this thing is insane. It felt much quicker down the straights than any of the other previous GT500s. I don't know if that was just kind of the sense of speed you get from this thing, or if it just genuinely is faster in a straight line. I can't give you a definitive answer. It's kind of difficult, because when you're putting these laps in, you're not really looking at the speedometer. But yeah, I mean, top speed was great, acceleration absolutely insane, like it is with pretty much all of the GT500s. Very agile feeling, very drivable, very good through the corners, especially carrying at speed. Like I said, it's just maybe just tweaking with the brake bias a bit might kind of sort of work in your favour on some of the tracks. Might not be really needed for some of the other ones, but who knows. Might just be me. A little bit of out of practice when it comes to doing these lap guides. So yeah, hopefully we can get back into them a little bit. So obviously this is one of the toughest sections for me around the Nürburgring, because it's kind of a mix between, I'd say, medium speed corners, and it's kind of where the car needs to keep most of its speed going through. Even though it's quite tight, it's still quite quick, and it's very twisty, pretty much one corner after another, different sort of elevation changes. So some of it's downhill, some of it's uphill. and this is where it's kind of like make or break for a lap, and I feel like it absolutely nailed it through this sector. Very strong run through this part. As you can see, you just see the elevation changes there, and they can sometimes throw you off, especially under braking. You can either brake too early going up a hill, or you can brake a little bit too late going down, and I feel like this car was, you know, absolutely planted through here. And for me, it's definitely one of the, I guess, more tough sectors when you tested any car, really. But I feel like I've done it enough times now that I've kind of got a sort of sense to it, to where it's going to, you know, where the braking points are, even, you know, when testing different machinery. But yeah, very impressed by how the car sort of took that part on. Obviously, after you've done this sector, you end up going for quite a fast part, just here. And then obviously you're going to go onto that big long straight at the end. And that's where you sort of, you know, kind of either see cars drop away because they haven't got a very good top end, or they'll, you know, make up an absolute ton of time in the more straight sectors. Things like the Big Guy, where it kind of lost time through the tight twisty sectors, really made up time down there. GTR though, pretty much, I guess, a very good all-rounder. But like I said, just be aware that's a little bit twitchier than possibly stuff like the Lexuses, and I guess it feels more, I'd say, on par with the 2008 Honda NSX in the way it twitches. It's not as extreme as that, but it's still, you know, quite noticeable. So at this point in the video, I'll just kind of let you have a listen to what the engine note sounds like, so I will be back straight after. So personally, when it's going like absolutely flat out, or when sort of like the anti-lag kicks in, I think it sounds absolutely awesome. But that is going to complete the lap. So yeah, fairly good lap. We'll take a look at some onboard footage, and then we'll get into obviously where it ends up on our leaderboard. Personally, I think it'd be quite high up there. I can't exactly remember where my lap time was at. But overall it was quite strong. Obviously a couple of mistakes throughout the lap that, you know, may have hurt it, but you know, that's kind of the thing with this lap time leaderboard, is it's not going to be 100% accurate, because a lot of it's down to the way I take to a car. I'm fairly good in pretty much all machinery in this game, pretty much competent and, you know, confident in my own driving, so a lot of it can just be, you know, how good the brakes are, stuff like that. That can really make the difference. Not all just about, you know, flat out speed and downforce and such. It's kind of pretty much everything rolled into one, to whether I think a car should be, you know, purchased or kind of like overlooked, or maybe it's kind of middle of the road. But for me, this GTR is definitely another standout machine and another strong entry into the GT500 category. So here's the individual sectors, and as you can see, overall we did a 6 minute 5.443, so very, very close with the Lexus. So yeah, it'll be kind of cool to see where it comes out with. As you can see, sectors fairly quick, not too bad, quite a few, you know, 12 sectors to this track, so yeah, quite a lot to analyse there, obviously, especially when it comes to comparing them with previous cars. So as you can see, overall 6 minute 5.443, around about, what, just over a second slower than a Lexus, but I have a feeling a lot of that is down to, I guess, my errors. Again, that braking that I mentioned, you know, kind of coming into play there, I do believe it was probably quicker overall pace wise than the Lexus, but again, just that awkward little bit of braking. I believe about 2 or 3 times it happened throughout the lap. So overall, would I kind of recommend you buying this car? I mean, for 800k, yes. The fact that the 2008 model is 200k more, a million, and just feels kind of, you know, quite a bit weaker than this one, kind of confuses me. But yeah, I would definitely recommend, you know, picking it up, giving it a go. And if, you know, if you want a car just for putting fast laps in, then, you know, it's kind of perfect for that. There's no major downside, and I guess, you know, just a bit of fiddling with the brake bias and you'll have that problem solved. So pretty much the perfect all-around track car. So that is going to be the end of this video. I'm going to wrap it up here. that is my opinion on yet another buyer's guide, this time for the GTR 2016 GT500. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Cheers guys.